Welcome back to our channel where we provide updates and undisclosed narratives on Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. We provide you with the exciting news: Prince William cut all ties with Camilla's son after his $12.3 million misusing royal funds was exposed. An inconspicuous but persistent inquiry conducted by the Prince of Wales has revealed a sophisticated plan of purported fraud, embezzlement, and a significant cover-up that jeopardizes King Charles III's nascent rule and exposes the House of Windsor's profound divisions. The matter is a $12.3 million opulent mansion, clandestinely constructed for Tom Parker Bowles, the son of Queen Camilla, using funds misappropriated from the Royal Maintenance Fund, designated for the upkeep of palaces and cultural monuments. Following a tense clandestine meeting at Buckingham Palace, King Charles, who is still grappling with a health issue, was compelled to resolve a contentious dispute between his spouse and his successor. The meticulously hidden consequences have sent Queen Camilla to internal exile, stripped of all official duties, while the multi-million-pound residence at the heart of the controversy was obliterated overnight. Insiders from the palace financial documents and individuals associated with the probe indicate that the royal family grapples with ambition, long-standing grievances, and the considerable strain of the crown, suggesting that the monarchy's most significant challenges may originate inside. Nunham's displeasing symphony. Nunham, a prosperous area on the southwestern periphery of London, serves as the narrative's inception. Nunham's red brick Victorian residences and well-maintained lawns have epitomized tranquil English life for decades. The peacefulness ended in early spring. The Willow Lane community experienced industrial noise nightly at around 10:00 p.m. Nunham's unwelcome symphony consisted of excavators' metal clashing and heavy machinery. A substantial construction site at the alley's terminus was abruptly obstructed by 3-meter-high steel barriers draped in opaque black mesh, restricting public entry. The darkness was pierced by glaring, lifeless floodlights as armed security personnel monitored the perimeter, cautioning the curious. Inhabitants used to the tranquility of suburban living were disrupted. "It is not only the noise, it is the attitude accompanying it," said 72-year-old retiree Margaret Thompson, whose residence at 14 Willow Lane was disturbed. "I have not had restful sleep for 3 weeks. A royal project. However, what kind of monarchy inflicts torment upon its citizens throughout the night?" Her sentiment was pervasive. The continuous jarring noises caused stress, sleeplessness, and worry. Young children were roused, crying in terror, while adjacent canines remained perpetually disturbed. A hastily convened town hall meeting ensued after a deluge of grievances directed at the local government. Mayor Harold Finch, whose political smile seemed unwavering, addressed the apprehensive assembly with authority. "This endeavor is of national significance and is undertaken on behalf of the royal family," he said, attempting to project confidence while his eyes revealed a lack of sincerity. "All issues will be assessed, but cooperation is vital for Nunham's advancement. The expense of collaboration." Within days, every household in the impacted area received a formal letter containing $500 as compensation for temporary inconvenience, along with a meticulously drafted non-disclosure agreement binding them to silence over the project. The funds were accepted, however, reluctantly by several individuals. The payments were completed, and the curtains were closed. Not everyone was content. At 27 Willow Lane, single mother and freelance writer Sarah Jenkins deemed the amount offensive. "This is hush money," unequivocally she conveyed to a small assembly of neighbors, her voice trembling with fatigue and indignation. "Do they think $500 would ensure my child a peaceful night? It pertains to power, not advancement." She started recording the nighttime task with her smartphone under the floodlights. Kensington listens to murmurs. The whispers from Nunham were critically heard in Kensington Palace, located less than an hour away. Lady Joan returned, after visiting her sister in the beleaguered region, to see Lord James Atherton, Prince William's devoted private secretary, enjoying an uncommon evening of leisure. "James, the situation outside is rather dire," she said, collapsing into a chair in their luxurious Kensington flat. "Volume is bothersome. It is referred to as a royal project, although it remains clandestine. Individuals are incentivized to maintain silence via bribery. Lord Atherton, renowned for his meticulous accuracy and competence in royal protocol, set down his knife and fork. As he managed the majority of Prince William's official affairs, he recognized that any royal initiative ranging from a Balmoral roof repair to estate restoration required his oversight and documentation in the secure central system. This extensive undertaking, including nighttime work and security, would have required months for organization and approval. He withdrew and engaged in study. He accessed the encrypted Royal Projects database and queried for Nunham. No records found. He broadened the search to include contractors' timelines and budget codes for like projects. Nothing. His stomach tightened with anxiety. Atherton pursued Prince William that evening. He found him in his Adelaide Cottage study sleeves rolled up, perusing the quarterly financial reports of the Royal Maintenance Fund. Since his ascension to the title of Prince of Wales, William has developed a particular interest in the fund, a substantial and intricate treasury that preserves the physical integrity of the royal estate. He was consumed with transparency and accountability, aware that financial scandal had tainted the monarchy. Your Highness Atherton said, his tone unremarkable, but betraying his trepidation. I have been aware of a development project in Nunham. It is promoted locally as a royal project, yet I cannot find any formal documentation. William relinquished his pen, gazing intently. He recalled conversing with his father soon upon his ascension. The legitimacy of the monarchy is tenuous, William Charles said. Public trust is vital to it. Do not allow that foundation to fracture. Are you certain? James William asked softly and fervently. I have cross-referenced all databases, Your Highness. It is absent from our records, Atherton informed the prince, presenting him with a printout of his unproductive searches. Moreover, residents are incentivized for maintaining silence. I detect a concealment. William stood and gazed at the moonlit grounds of the Windsor estate through the window. It constituted more than a mere administrative error. The illicit use of the Royal Project label was a grave violation, although the bribery suggested a more sinister motive. The institution has endured several scandals. Another, particularly financial, might jeopardize his father's nascent leadership. Conduct an investigation into this, William said decisively. Execute it with discretion. Leverage your resources. No one else should be informed. Not the office of the king. He is not my father. Upon returning to his desk, William's mind raced. He examined the transaction record of his laptop's maintenance fund for irregularities. He maintained concentration despite the inundation of information. A seemingly innocuous payment of $8,400 to Nunham-based Denning & Sons Construction piqued his interest. The description was ambiguous preliminary site survey. It was a minor detail. He contacted Atherton securely after midnight. Commence with Denning & Sons, he said. Who are they, whom do they represent, and who authorized that payment monitor each pound? In Nunham, the ground trembled. The workers, mostly temporary contractors receiving double the standard rate for unsociable hours, understood to stay silent. They were developing a significant and expensive project, although they were instructed not to inquire. The rumbling that afflicted houses on Willow Lane served as a forewarning. Prince William received the message clearly at Windsor, deciphering the digital thread. The same morning, a clandestine rendezvous occurred in a soundproof underground bunker, shrouded by a dense London fog enveloping Kensington Palace. It was exclusively for delicate subjects. Prince William, Lord Atherton, and Eliza Thorne, a 32-year-old forensic accountant from a prestigious city business, were there. William depended on Thorne's keen analytical perception and supercomputer-like mind to get financial transparency. A modest pile of files and 3 black coffees were positioned on the wooden table. Atherton disclosed their findings. The extensive archives produced a contract vaguely titled Royal Infrastructure Renovation. However, it was devoid of a project code, budgetary constraints, and crucially council signatures. Eliza Thorne activated her laptop, casting a frigid blue light on her focused visage. She said, I have obtained access to the source logs of the internal payment system while typing rapidly. Payments were intentionally dispersed. Numerous minor transactions below $50,000, which would trigger an automated alert. In the last 3 months, they accumulated $2.1 million. She confronted the prince on the TV. A complex financial flow diagram with red arrows originating from the Royal Maintenance Fund is shown. 3 newly established shell companies in suburban London received the funds prior to their transfer to Jersey's offshore tax haven. Who authorized these transfers? William, in a constrained tone, questioned. She composed a final directive. The screen exhibited Arthur Denning's name and digital signature. Atherton said Arthur Denning accompanied by a knowing smirk. He is not a palace official. Assistant to Tom Parker Bowles. The room descended into profound silence, disrupted only by the ventilation system. Tom Parker Bowles, a progeny of the Queen. Until recently, he managed his atypical role as a culinary writer and television personality with notable finesse. This is not a clerical mistake, William said frigidly. This is intentional embezzlement. Should the Queen be cognizant? Atherton continued, his anxiety palpable. We will proceed on the assumption that she is not, William said, but with reluctance. His father exhibited frailty. The king was unable to manage this at the moment. We explore further. Trace the financial flow, Eliza. I need any data pertaining to the Jersey account. Proceed to Nunham James. I need ground surveillance capabilities. The squad disbanded. Within the digital bunker, Eliza navigated the complexities of offshore money. Atherton, attired in a utility maintenance worker uniform, operated an unmarked vehicle en route to Nunham. William re-entered his study and unlocked a small fireproof safe. He discovered an encrypted USB drive with a bespoke transaction tracking program he had commissioned, capable of identifying patterns and connections that conventional accounting systems could not. Lord Atherton met with an informant in a dilapidated cafe in Nunham late that afternoon. Jack O'Reilly, a 37-year-old site foreman, was located via clandestine channels. Prolonged night hours rendered his hands and eyes calloused and bloodshot. O'Reilly said, "It is not a palace renovation," while leaning over the table. "We are privately building a castle, a contemporary residence. The amenities include an infinity pool, a wine cellar, and a private theater. The blueprints are designated as TPB residence." He slid a disordered floor plan across the table. Corner signature A, Denning. TPB underneath. Tom Parker Bowles Atherton said, heart-thumping. A concealed device on his watch recorded the whole exchange. That is the one, O'Reilly said, nervously gazing at the door. We are receiving double compensation, but we were cautioned that disclosing our project may result in losing everything and being barred from employment in this area indefinitely. I must provide sustenance for my family. Atherton communicated his findings to William on an encrypted channel that evening. The evidence is now unequivocal. The investigation led directly to Tom Parker Bowles. He was acquiring a mansion. William experienced profound solitude in his study, the lamplight casting elongated, swirling shadows over the walls. The Crown had both public and private obligations. He had a sense of betrayal from his recently amalgamated family. Eliza Thorne sent an urgent encrypted message at midnight. A substantial transaction was identified. Denning & Sons executed a transfer of $500,000 yesterday. Accelerated finishing. They may expedite their progress. The website is almost complete. William arranged a meeting at 3 a.m. for an urgent assembly. The basement room was permeated with tension and robust coffee as the three reconvened. They are aware of our surveillance, William said somberly. They want to finalize the project and close the accounts prior to our disclosure. Tom needs emergency attention. Operation has escalated. Eliza's hacking skills enabled her to infiltrate the security camera feeds of Clarence House. Atherton prudently reached out to former Royal Fund accountants who had been reassigned or had quit under dubious conditions. In Nunham, frustrated by the local media's reluctance to report on the issue, "It's a royal project, we cannot," Sarah Jenkins uploaded her construction recordings to a secure platform and sent the link to a reliable national investigative journalist. With a champagne glass in hand, Tom Parker Bowles grinned and socialized at an opulent Mayfair soiree. Arthur Denning approached him urgently, insisting your mother instructs you to hasten as he socialized with London's aristocracy. Questioning ensues. Tom rigidified his smile. The first crack emerged in his gilded realm. He was unaware that Prince William would completely shatter it. Queen's Gambit. Tom Parker Bowles navigated his black Audi through the desolate streets of London at 2:14 a.m., his fingers gripping the steering wheel with intensity. His phone vibrated incessantly. Denning was the individual. The vehicle of the Kensington Palace household was seen in proximity to the site, sir. We possess the license plate number. They surveil us. Tom applied the brakes forcefully, bringing the vehicle to a halt. A cold perspiration emerged on his forehead. Kensington Palace. One name sprang to mind: William. He proceeded directly to Clarence House, circumventing significant security measures with his own key. The lights illuminated his mother's private sitting area. He entered hastily in a state of terror. Mother, they are aware. William is conducting an investigation. Queen Camilla reclined on a plush leather chair adorned in a white silk robe while sipping claret. She swirled the rich crimson liquid while maintaining an enigmatic expression. "Please have a seat, Tom," she implored serenely. As she placed the glass down, the crystal resonated on the mahogany side table. "I cautioned you to use more caution," she said, gazing at him icily. "Pay attention to me." The intercom button was activated. 2 minutes later, Geoffrey, her stern chief aide, arrived with a black leather bag. Camilla said, "The contingency files therefore concluding the disagreement. Create them this evening. Kindly sign the authorization documents, Charles and William. Utilize high-resolution photographs of the Windsor restoration from the previous year. Produce them on vellum with the Royal Archives watermark." Geoffrey momentarily halted. "Should the council conduct a forensic audit, Your Majesty?" Camilla interjected, "They will not accompanied by a menacing glare. You will transfer all funds from the fraudulent entities to the Jersey Trust before sunrise. Subsequently, erase all logs from the London server, every trace." She stood and approached the window outlined by the city lights. "I request the relocation of 5 of the Maintenance Fund's premier accountants. Becomes effective immediately. An immediate internal audit in Scotland is necessary. Individuals who contest the action will undergo a reassessment of their security clearance." Geoffrey inclined his head and exited quietly. Tom regarded his mother with a somber expression. "Are you certain this is effective? Should Charles uncover—" Camilla pivoted, her countenance severe. "Charles administers heart medication. He endorses what is presented and sleeps well. He will remain unaware till this is completed." She grasped her son's shoulder firmly. "You are my son, Tom. This family is indebted to you after everything that I have endured. You deserve a castle from them." Her aims were subsequently disclosed. This housing dispute included issues of legacy and debt. After years of being seen as the other woman, despised by the media and the public, she developed a formidable protective instinct for her children, whom she felt had been sidelined by the dominant organization she now co-led. The anticipated cost of Tom's dream home during his adolescence was $12. $3 million! She absconded with every pound by using verbal instructions and a counterfeit king's seal stamp affixed to documents while he slumbered. 5 top personnel of the Royal Accounting Office at St. James's Palace were awakened by urgent encrypted emails notifying them of their immediate reassignment to a branch office in the Scottish Highlands at 4:00 a.m. Mr. Harris, a certified accountant, relaxes. He saw that the data were inaccurate. He personally executed several questionable deals under duress. He concealed a USB drive with encrypted transaction records in his pocket prior to packing. In the Channel Islands, the residual $3.8 million was allocated to the Parker Heritage Trust. The 47-page document of fraudulent contracts and authorizations, adorned with pristine red seals and flawless signatures of the King and Prince of Wales, was prepared. Camilla examined it once again, offering a little smile. She extended an invitation to Tom for the following morning at her tea shop. "It is managed, my dear," she said gently. "This project is sanctioned should William inquire. The documents substantiate it. They possessed the signatures of both him and his father. A confidential financial source from Jersey informed Eliza Thorne at Kensington Palace. A trust was funded overnight, proprietor Parker Heritage Trust. She entered William's study at around 600 a.m., looking pallid. "Everything has been relocated," she said. "They depleted the accounts. The total amount is $12.3 million. William saw the crimson dawn over London from the window. Chilling, searing fury replaced treachery. His stepmother deceived the crown and conspired to incriminate him and his father. "She has executed her strategy," he said to the vacant chamber. "I will now create my own." The dispute in the green room. Camilla initiated the final confrontation, not William. It was very bold. Each member of the Royal Maintenance Fund Council got a 47-page dossier encased in crimson leather, embossed with the royal symbol sent by special courier that morning. The title, Royal Asset Restoration Project Phase 3 Nunham, was inscribed in elevated gold letters. A meticulously crafted assemblage of contracts, financial forecasts, and authorizations for a classified safe house of national security was included inside. The last page seemed to have the signatures of King Charles III and Prince William. Insiders in the palace disseminated the information rapidly. In excess of $12 million was allocated to a private clandestine initiative by the king and his successor, purportedly circumventing the council. The council requested a 24-hour emergency meeting, perceiving a sense of total defeat. The pallid King Charles felt the ground quaking under him as he examined the report in his study. His voice was perplexed and accusing as he called his child. "What does this signify?" William remained unperturbed with the arrival of the dossier at Adelaide Cottage. He swiftly navigated to the last page. The signature was indistinguishable from his, but he recognized it as counterfeit. Exposed the document to illumination. The ink was uniform and consistent, like that of a premium laser printer rather than a fountain pen. "Eliza," he whispered into his secure phone. "I need a thorough forensic analysis of this document. Currently." The results were prepared within 1 hour. The budget codes were poorly organized. The date of Charles's signature approval coincided with a hospital observation day. William's signature corresponded with an image of the previous year's meeting minutes digitally integrated into the present document. "It is a sophisticated forgery," Your Highness, Eliza said apprehensively. "They want to assign blame on you." Will was prepared. He called Lord Atherton. "Arrange a meeting at Buckingham Palace. The Green Room. 2 hours. Only my father, the Queen, and 3 unbiased council members. Only one." The Green Room, characterized by its compact size, wood paneling, and historical importance, is suitable for quiet discussions. It has a substantial entrance and lacks side windows. Camilla made her first appearance in an emerald green ensemble exuding confidence and serenity. Charles came shortly thereafter, supported by a cane, and exhibiting eyes clouded with concern and medication. William sat at the head of the table, clad in a simple black suit, exuding a solemn demeanor. The door was secured from inside. "William, dear, you have been causing concern for everyone," Camilla said, her tone melodious. "Your father sanctioned this little project months ago. I simply do not comprehend this suspicion." William did not respond. He connected a projector to a USB disk positioned on the table. Eliza's financial flowchart with red arrows on a white background directed attention to the Parker Heritage Trust shown on the screen. "This constitutes funds from the maintenance fund," he said without emotion. "A separate dwelling was constructed for your son." Camilla scoffed, sliding her forged paper across the table. "These are formal agreements." William indicated the signature page of the screen. "I joined on August 14th. Father attended the London clinic that day. I joined him from dawn to midnight. This document was not endorsed by us." His signature made Charles's fingers tremble. "Camilla, what's this?" William pressed a button. "Mother insists on preserving 60% of the difference for me." Tom Parker Bowles's startled call was played. He aired another piece of footage of Camilla's private conversation with her aide, transfer everything to the Jersey Trust, vanish from London. Camilla paled. Her chair clattered noisily as she stood up. Tom acted alone. She cried, losing control. I was duped. I was unfamiliar with the details. William put another USB on the table. This includes 38 emails between your office and Arthur Denning, 12 counterfeit invoices and sworn evidence from the accountant you suppressed and the contractor you underpaid. Your order was spoken. Arranged reassignments. You build trust. Your signature is on 47 illegal transactions. An awful hush fell. King Charles looked at his wife with deep, exhausted grief. He whispered, Camilla, implying death. How can this happen? For the first time, Queen Camilla seemed depressed. A terrified woman fell on her chair. She begged William in dread, not rage. What do you want? William looked between his stepmother and father. Only the truth. Additionally, monies. Each pound. Charles spoke royally with a feeble hand on the table. This meeting did not occur. He continued looking at the 3 sallow council members. It will be handled. Camilla, he added, looking at his wife. You have 24 hours to restore all assets to the crown. His tone was cold. Nunham House will be demolished. Public service suspension begins immediately. We'll discuss your future privately. Camilla silently approached the door with an upright stance. William stood with a racing heart as the heavy door closed. Result, victory. However, the triumph was hollow and ash-like. Camilla told her kid, run, in the hallway. Ash and silence, Prince William swiftly and ruthlessly cleaned up after the altercation with the king's quiet and severe approbation. The Jersey Bank received conclusive proof from the royal legal team. The bank halted the Parker Heritage Trust and repatriated $12.3 million after a worldwide outcry against the British monarchy. A nighttime caravan of unmarked automobiles landed in Nunham. The same experienced artisans and engineers that methodically repaired Windsor Castle after the fire decimated it. The same floodlights that plagued the neighborhood for weeks damaged the almost finished home. Marble walls, Italian tiles, and bulletproof glass were carefully disassembled and packed. By daybreak, the Greed and Ambition building was gone, leaving disturbed ground. Morning brought news, Nunham's future site, Royal Community Park. Spring begins. Sarah Jenkins observed it odd from her window with her toddler. The noise has ended, my love, she hugged him. Their silence would be compensated by an anonymous donation to a new community fund. The official narrative was hidden. House arrest in Clarence House for Queen Camilla. Instead of guarding her gates, royal security restricted access. Her staff was pared down, her communications were watched, and she was secretly excluded from royal gatherings. She was merely a title queen without power. Her son Tom took a private aircraft to Geneva and disappeared, becoming elusive in his wealthy environment. Prince William studied alone at Adelaide Cottage before morning. His handwritten letter to his father alleging maintenance fund abuse was on the table. He didn't mail it. He gingerly shredded it and threw it into the cold fireplace. He recalled his father's last remarks after the meeting. Our family may be fractured, William, but the throne must stay intact. William viewed Windsor's tranquility from the balcony. Crisp, clean air. He protected the institution and his father's rule and required justice. He isolated himself and his family. His most difficult inherited lesson was that a future king's actual strength resides in his unflinching dedication to safeguard the throne no matter what. Nunham's ruckus in Windsor had been replaced by immense quiet. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts and goodbye for now.